Our afternoon program will emphasize that Jehovah God is a source of protection like no one. This will begin with a song, and the song will be song number 49. So you're invited to stand and sing song number 49, entitled Jehovah is Our Refuge. What enables servants of God to remain confident in Jehovah's saving power, even if doing so appears foolish from a human perspective? This vital question will be considered in the thrilling drama we are about to see. We know that your faith will be strengthened by reflecting on the lessons in the drama entitled, O Jehovah, I Trust in You. During the drama, please be careful not to obstruct anyone's view. Please, now, enjoy the drama.
O Jehovah our God, save us out of his hands so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are God, O Jehovah. So you know that David wasn't much older than you boys when he went up against Goliath. Can you imagine going up against such a huge giant?
Just how big was he, King Hezekiah?
Well, he was this tall, his shoulders were this wide, his sword was sharp, and it was this long.
David must have been scared.
A little. Do you remember what he said to Saul?
David said, I killed a bear and a lion. Jehovah will help me kill Goliath.
And then what happened?
I know. David puts 5 stones in a bag and he says, I am coming to you in the name of Jehovah. Then he takes the stone out of his bag and he slings it with all his power and might at Goliath's head and kills him. And then he cuts off his head.
I want to be brave like David.
It can be, if you trust in Jehovah just like David did. And remember, with Jehovah on our side, anything is possible.
King Hezekiah, look!
What have we here?
I found it in the garden over there. It can't fly. What should I do?
It's a young turtle dove. Perhaps it fell out of its nest. You need to keep it close and warm. And promise me something.
My lord, a moment, please.
What is it, Jaziel?
A man has just arrived from Samaria.
Is it as we expected? Bring him to my council chamber. Gather my advisors. Call Isaiah too, but do so quietly. We don't want people to panic.
King Hezekiah, what was I supposed to promise?
Ah, yes, this is important. You have to promise me not to keep the bird locked up in a cage. When it can fly, set it free.
I promised.
Good. Now I must go.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, my lord, okay.
Please, stand. I'm your brother. This is Jaziel with the army. These are my advisors, Eliakim and Shebna. And this is Isaiah. What is your name?
I am Joel, my lord.
Joel, please. What happened in Samaria?
The Assyrians, they finally broke through the wall. They hacked off hands and arms, heads. They singled out the leading men of the city, and they skinned them alive.
How did you escape?
I disguised myself as one of the Assyrian soldiers.
And what of the survivors?
I didn't have time to see much, but the Assyrians were gathering people together. I suppose they were taking them as captives. And they bound their hands with strips of leather. My wife, my dear wife, and my sons, and my little daughter.
Others are arriving from the north.
How many?
More than 100 so far.
I'm so very sorry, my brother. Eliakim, please see that this man is taken care of. Give him food and rest. See that the others are cared for as well.
Yes, my lord.
Thank you. Thank you.
"3 years since the Assyrians first laid siege to Samaria. 3 years behind those walls.
What happened to Samaria could happen to us.
How could Jehovah have allowed this to happen?
It happened because Samaria broke its alliance to the king of Assyria. They stopped paying the yearly tribute, just as we had.
These things came upon them because they sinned against Jehovah.
The king is right. From King Omri's day, the people in Samaria have served false gods.
That may be
they
true, but-
openly practiced idolatry. Jehovah foretold that these consequences would come upon them, but again and again they rejected his warnings.
Are you saying they were being punished by Jehovah?
I'm saying that if they were loyal to Jehovah, this would not have happened.
What happened to Samaria will not happen to us. It was right to break ties with Assyria.
Our trust is in Jehovah.
Of course we must trust in Jehovah. Of course we will. But there will be consequences. The Assyrians will come for us. It's wise to take practical measures. Did not Solomon say the shrewd person sees the danger and does something about it? Perhaps we could ask Egypt.
No.
Remember our history, Shebna. King Asa leaned on Syria, and Jehoshaphat aligned himself with Ahab. Jehovah rebuked both of them.
Our first concern is to care for the refugees from Samaria. Let us go and see what can be done.
My great king, the couriers have brought tribute from King Asardin. 10,000 cattle, 5,000 sheep, 2,000 camels, 1,000 horses, 300 wagons filled with iron from their deposits, 10 talents.
300? 300 wagons of iron? We demand 500.
The king begs for your mercy and forgiveness in the matter. He apologizes for any delay.
I have no need for apologies. I need iron. Without iron, I cannot equip my army. Without an army, I cannot gather slaves to work in the fields. He begs for my patience. He should be begging for his life. Kill all his children. Tell him I will do the same to him if he does not send me the remaining 200 wagons within 60 days.
As you wish, my lord.
What is this? Why is there no tribute from Judah?
Yes. The king in Jerusalem refuses to pay.
He refuses?
Yes. His name is Hezekiah. He is not like his father Ahaz, who was loyal to us. He has struck down Philistine cities that were allied to us, including Ekron. Your loyal subject, King Padai, is now a prisoner in Jerusalem.
Hezekiah, you dare to defy me? You not know what I would do to you.
Reports from the field confirm the enemy continues to advance. They already hold the territory to our north. We believe the Assyrians will go on to subdue the cities south and west of us.
My lord, some cities are giving up without a fight. The enemy's taking captives in large numbers.
Public torture and execution are persuasive. Some cities simply open their gates. It is likely the Assyrians will approach Jerusalem from the south. But before they could successfully attack Jerusalem, they would have to take Lachish. Otherwise, they risk having Lachish at their backs.
Might Egypt fight against them?
That is a possibility.
Yes, the Egyptian army is strong. Perhaps it's time to consider a coalition. With Egypt and Lachish beside us, we could make a strong stand against Assyria.
I will make no alliance with Egypt. However, we do need to prepare. Rizia, you're chief of the army. What do you suggest?
We cannot defeat the Assyrians in open warfare. We must prepare for a siege. The walls of Jerusalem need to be strengthened. Also, I suggest we build a second wall to provide added protection.
What else?
We need more shields and defensive weapons.
Agreed.
Then there's the matter of water.
I've thought of that. Water flows to the fields outside the city. Our engineers say that a tunnel can be dug to divert the water to the Pool of Siloam inside the city walls. If the Assyrians do come here, why should we provide water for them?
We must move quickly.
Make arrangements immediately. My brothers, we need not fear the king of Assyria and all the multitude that are with him. For there are more with us than there are with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is our God Jehovah to help us and to fight our battles.
Padai, king of Ekron, wants to speak with you.
You wish to speak with me, Padai? What do you want?
I want you to release me, to send me back to Ekron to reclaim my kingship.
Why should I do that?
The Assyrian army is coming. I can help you. I can speak to the king Sennacherib on your behalf. I know him. Maybe he will be merciful to you.
I will never kiss the feet of one who enslaved and murdered our people. I am not like you, you contemptible worm.
If I am a worm, I am a smart worm, Hezekiah. And you are a fool. You have no idea the horror that you're bringing upon your people. The Assyrians are like a locust plague, devouring all in its path. They will smash through these walls, torture your mighty men, rape your women, and slay your children. And what do you think they will do to you, Hezekiah? You cannot imagine what they will do to you. You will see, Hezekiah. Terror is coming. You will see. You will see. You will see.
You! What have you done? You've killed us all! The Assyrians are coming! Our children will die! You kill her! Kill her!
Isaiah, I've known you all my life. You always helped me and guided me. I'm deeply troubled.
These are critical times. Sit down, my son. Tell me, what's in your heart?
City after city is falling to the Assyrians. But you know that. I brought this upon our people. Shebna warned me that there would be consequences if I rebelled against Assyria, and he was right. There's so much suffering. I am to blame. Was it wrong to rebel against Assyria?
It's never a mistake to trust God. Your father was a puppet in the hands of Assyria. You, though, have always put your trust in Jehovah. Since the day you became king, you've worked to reestablish pure worship in our land. You repaired and reopened the temple. You destroyed the sacred pillars. You pulled down the high places and altars and cut down the sacred poles.
This is the right thing to do.
And now you're constantly with the people of our city, encouraging and strengthening them to stay faithful.
And so do you, but now our people in other cities suffer. Why?
I think you know the answer to that. But let me show you something. You gave me this when you were just a child learning to write.
You kept this all these years? To you, O Jehovah, I turn. My God, I trust in you. It's a Psalm of David.
Yes, and you've always trusted in Jehovah, and he's blessed you greatly.
I do read from the law every day.
And you know that the law warned of the consequences of unfaithfulness. There's still much unfaithfulness among our people. You've instituted reforms, but the people have been half-hearted in applying them.
I keep thinking about what it says in our law. That Jehovah will bring punishment for the error of fathers upon future generations. My father filled this city with idols. He sacrificed my brothers to a Canaanite god.
I remember well. That was a dreadful time.
Will Jerusalem now suffer for the error of former generations?
Trust in Jehovah, Hezekiah. He never disappoints those who are loyal to him.
I need more faith.
Keep it, Hezekiah. Never forget what you wrote as a boy. Your faithfulness can be a positive example, Hezekiah, not just for our people today, but for generations to come.
There is no longer any doubt Lachish will fall. The Assyrians moved siege engines in place and are pounding the wall with battering rams. Their soldiers attempt to scale the wall with ladders.
Jerusalem will be next.
Rizia, tell me, can Jerusalem withstand a siege?
We have water, stockpiles of food. Our walls are strong and we can defend them. We're as prepared as we can be.
But the same could have been said for Lachish.
Eliakim, what is the spirit of the people of Jerusalem?
There is great fear in the city, Hezekiah, and with good reason. There's nowhere to flee. Many of the people say we should surrender.
We will never open our gates to these hated men and allow them to desecrate our temple. Never. Jehovah will save us just as he did our forefathers at the Red Sea.
Jehovah did not save Samaria. He has not saved the cities and towns of Judah. Now it seems he will not save Lachish. How long are we...
have faith that Jehovah will provide a way out.
What if an alliance with Egypt was our way out, but we failed to take it when we could have?
There may be another option. Sennacherib is coming against us because we refuse to pay tribute to him if we offer him money.
No. If we give him money, he will expect us to do his bidding.
If we paid the tribute, we wouldn't need to surrender and we wouldn't need to fight. Could this be the answer we're looking for?
All right. Jaziel, I want you to lead a delegation to the Assyrian forces. Go to them at Lachish and ask them what they would take to withdraw from us. Do not promise them anything.
The great Sennacherib has favorably heard your request. He demands that you deliver to him here 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold.
King Sennacherib not consider a lesser amount?
You are in no position to bargain.
Our king has authorized us to pay a generous tribute, but what you're asking for is too much.
Be glad that the king has not demanded your heads. If you do not bring the money, he will take it from you, and you will die. One other matter. You are to release to us King Padai. It is the will of the king that he return to Ephraim.
When you delivered the money, did the Assyrians say anything to you?
They said nothing. They just took the wagons with the money.
Where's Jaziel?
The Assyrians demanded that he stay behind. They didn't say why.
This is not good. I worry about his safety.
So do I. But I am thankful. We have an agreement now.
Jerusalem will be spared a siege.
The cost was heavy. The treasuries are empty.
Still, that money bought our very lives.
You do not stand before the king!
My lord, his weapon.
So you are the man from Jerusalem. And this is your sword. It's made of bronze, not iron. In Nineveh, our children play with swords like these. I'm curious about this king of yours. Who does he think will come to save him from me? What do you think, Rabshakeh Adar?
He hopes that Egypt will rescue him.
Is that true, man of Jerusalem?
No, it is not.
No.
Our king trusts in... We trust in Jehovah.
Yes, Jehovah. You trust in him to save you. But if you trust in your God to save you, then why is it you bring me silver and gold so that I should turn away from you? But let us talk about Jehovah. Was not Jehovah the God of Samaria, which my father reduced to rubble? Answer me!
Yes.
And is not Jehovah the God of the cities of Judah, which I have now conquered?
Yes.
And is not Jehovah the God of Lachish, whose walls we will soon smash to rubble?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Jehovah, your God, is weak. He will cringe before my God Asher, just as you. Cringe before me now. Tell me, do you fear me?
No. I do not fear death.
A brave man! The men of Lachish also do not fear death. They welcome it. In fact, they beg for it. He will take it to see them. So you can see the imaginative ways we discipline those who anger us. Then I will send you back to Jerusalem to report what you have seen here. When your people understand what we do to those who resist, they will throw open their gates to us when we come.
We had an agreement.
Am I a mule that can be bought for money? I will not tolerate rebellion! Get him out of my sight.
To you, O Jehovah, I turn. My God, I trust in you. It's a psalm of David.
David must have been scared.
A little. Do you remember what he said to Saul?
Jehovah will help me kill Goliath.
David puts 5 stones in a bag and he says, I am coming to you in the name of Jehovah.
I want to be brave like David.
It can be, if you trust in Jehovah just like David did. And remember, with Jehovah on our side, anything is possible.
Jaziel,
are you all right?
You look terrible. I'm fine. But the Assyrians, they betrayed us. They're coming.
My lord the king, there's a large military force of Assyrians outside the gates. They've demanded that you come to speak with them.
See to it that this man is taken care of. Rest, Jaziel. You've done well. We'll talk later. I must go out to them.
No, please, my lord. Don't you go.
No, they will take you away.
Send me.
Take Shebna and Joah the recorder. Do not give answer to them. Listen and report back to me.
This is what the great king, the king of Assyria, says. What is the basis for your confidence? You are saying I have a strategy and the power to wage war. But these are empty words. In whom have you put your trust so that you dare to rebel against me? Now, is it without authorization from Jehovah that I have come up against this place to destroy it? Jehovah himself said to me, go up against this land and destroy it.
Speak to your servants, please. in the Aramaic language, for we can understand it. Do not speak to us in the language of the Jews, in the hearing of the people on the wall.
Is it just to your lord? And to you that my lord has sent me to speak these words? Is it not also to the men who sit on the wall, those who will eat their own excrement and drink their own urine along with you? Do not listen to Hezekiah, for this is what the king of Assyria says. Make peace with me and surrender, and each of you will eat from his own vine and from his own fig tree. Have any of the gods of the nations rescued their land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Who among all the gods of these nations have rescued their land out of my hand, so that Jehovah should rescue Jerusalem out of my hand?
We will report your words to our king.
Did he say anything else?
No, that was all.
How are the people of Jerusalem reacting?
They're terrified. They thought, we all thought, that the Assyrians would leave us alone.
Some are saying we should surrender, but most are looking to you, Hezekiah.
Rizia, how do you see our situation?
We have done everything we can to prepare for siege, but the Assyrian siege engines are immense. Jerusalem can withstand a siege for a time, but without Jehovah's help, it does not look good for us.
How long can the Assyrians sustain a siege?
Their siege of Samaria lasted 3 years. It seems that they have a network of supply lines that provide their forces with food and water.
My brothers, we must remember that Jehovah is fully able to rescue us just as he has in times past.
Hezekiah! Will you not even now face the facts? We are trapped. We're like birds in a cage. Either we open the door to the cage ourselves, or we keep it closed until Sennacherib rips it open.
You're even suggesting that we surrender? I cannot give Jehovah's holy city over to men who taunt the living God, to men who will profane the temple of Jehovah and carry off his spoil, the Ark of the Covenant. No, we will not surrender.
All the cities of Judah have been defeated. Thousands have been taken away. Men, women, children. The Assyrians are at our gate, and you cling to the belief that nothing bad will happen. Do you not understand? You will destroy everything you so hope to preserve. The temple, Jerusalem, our very lives.
Shebna, I'm not blind to the dangers that we face. I too am afraid. But if Jehovah allows Jerusalem to fall, so be it. How can we give up what belongs to Jehovah? O Jehovah our God, please see our peril. Take notice of how our enemy is taunting you. We look to you to deliver us. We know you are the Supreme One. Act in behalf of your holy name. Please, help us and give me courage to do your will. Please, go to Isaiah. Take with you some of the elders and the priests. Clothe yourselves with sackcloth and ask Isaiah for the word of Jehovah.
Isaiah, my brother, this is what Hezekiah says. This day is a day of distress, and perhaps Jehovah your God will hear the words of the Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his lord, sent to taunt the living God. And he will call him to account for the words that Jehovah your God has heard. So offer up a prayer on behalf of the remnant who has survived.
This is what Jehovah says. Do not be afraid because of the words that you've heard, the words with which the attendants of the king of Assyria blaspheme me. I am putting a thought in his mind, and he will hear a report and return to his own land. And I will make him fall by the sword in his own land.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you.
Assyrians at the gate!
We bring a message for Hezekiah from Sennacherib, king of the world.
I am Hezekiah. What word do you have for me?
This is what the mighty Sennacherib, favored of the great gods, says to you. Do not let your God, in whom you trust, deceive you by saying Jerusalem will not be delivered into the hand of the Assyrians. Look, you have heard what the kings of Assyria did to all the lands by devoting them to destruction. Will you alone be rescued? Did the gods of the nations that my forefathers destroyed rescue them? Where are Gozan, Haran, Rezeph, and the people of Eden who are in Tel Asar? Where's the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad, and the king of the cities of Sepharvaim, and of Hena, and of Iva?
O Jehovah, the God of Israel, sitting enthroned above the cherubs, you alone are the true God of all the kingdoms of the earth. Hear all the words that Sennacherib has sent to taunt the living God. Kings of Assyria have devastated the nations in their lands. But now, O Jehovah our God, please save us out of his hands so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are God, O Jehovah. You have come from Isaiah?
Yes, my lord. He says, "This is what Jehovah says about the king of Assyria. The virgin daughter of Zion despises you. She scoffs at you. The daughter of Jerusalem shakes her head at you. Whom have you taunted and blasphemed? It is against the Holy One of Israel. Your rage against me and your roaring have reached my ears. So I will put my hook in your nose and my bridle between your lips, and I will lead you back the way you came."
Rabshakeh Ada! Adar! Why are you still sleeping?
My Lord. My Lord. I went to the Tarde as you commanded, but he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Not a mark! Not a mark on them!
I was at my post, my lord, all of the night, my king. I swear it. I heard nothing. I saw nothing.
What are we to do?
My lord, who could have done this?
Please.
Jehovah! Jehovah!
What a spectacular presentation. May this drama help you to envision Jehovah displaying his awesome saving power in your behalf in the future. Let's now stand and praise our Almighty God Jehovah by singing song number 131, entitled Jehovah Provides Escape. After the song, there will be a few announcements, during which you may remain standing. Again, that's song number 131. Each year, the last talk of our convention provides an exciting finale to the program. We know that you will enjoy the conclusion of this Remain Loyal to Jehovah convention as Brother James Pelaccia, who serves at Bethel and is in the full-time service in 49 years, explains to us the meaning of the Bible's promise Jehovah will treat his loyal one in a special way.
After that trauma, I think Jehovah has treated me in a special way. How do you feel? And as we reflect on these last 3 days, we feel Jehovah's love, his loyal love, and his special attention to us. But you know, maybe you didn't always feel that way. I know it wasn't the case with me. At some times when I was younger, this is what my friends thought I was, a square. Now that name may not be popular today, but usually witnesses were labeled as squares. The label often was used in regard to someone that was dull, boring, old-fashioned, out of touch with current trends, a nerd, a geek, nobody special, a nobody. The antithesis of this was a hipster in its day, someone cool. It's strange how words evolve, because at one time, the word square meant someone that was honest, loyal. But the world has transformed the word square from a compliment into an insult. There's an idiomatic expression that you can't fit a square peg into a round hole. Now, this is square, it's a peg, and it describes a person who does not fit in. And maybe at one time we felt, as a Jehovah's Witness, we can't fit in at school, at work, in the neighborhood, with our unbelieving relatives. Someone who is just a misfit. But answer me this. Would you rather be a misfit with the world or with Jehovah? Or to put it more positive, would you rather fit in with Jehovah and his people than with the world? Let's look at that word loyalty again and compare it to faithfulness. Recall that loyalty is the superglue of kindness. It involves a deep attachment. And the big thing about loyalty is that it's based on love. The word faithful is steadfast and constant, important qualities. But it can be applied to inanimate things. For example, the watch on your wrist. It's constant. It indicates time. You may love your watch, but can your watch love you? Another example, the psalmist called the moon a faithful witness in the skies because of its regular nightly appearance. But the moon cannot be described as being loyal. Why? Because loyalty is an expression of love, something that inanimate things like the moon cannot display. At bedtime, you can say to that lesser luminary in the sky, "Good night, moon." But will the moon answer with a good night kiss? No. Only a loved one can do that. So although loyalty is similar to faithfulness, more is involved. And the deeper and broader and wider our love of God is, the firmer we will stand in loyalty before tests that try to break our loyalty to God. Consider a tree. The deeper the roots of the tree, the stronger the tree will withstand a storm. And some of these trees are the oldest living things on earth, like a sequoia tree in California, 300 feet tall, 3,000 years old and more. Its root systems are equally impressive. They cover an area as large as 3 or 4 acres. Nothing can uproot that tree. It's solid in its anchorage, high winds, powerful earthquakes cannot move that tree. Is your loyalty to Jehovah deeply rooted? And is it wide enough in your love to withstand the violent shakings or storms of life? Jehovah is faithful, and he's loyal. and his loyal love for you has the stability and strength to overcome your most daunting problems. Our program discussed in many ways in which we can maintain our loyalty to our Heavenly Father, Jehovah. But as we conclude this convention, let us discuss further how God's loyalty to his earthly servants can be something special toward those that worship him. Jehovah himself provides the most loftiest example of loyalty. If you look in your Bible at Psalm 97, verse 10, Psalm 90, verse 10, a scripture discussed already on this program, but think of it in this way of how Jehovah can treat us in a special way. It reads, "O you who love Jehovah, hate what is bad. He is guarding the lives of his loyal ones. He rescues them from the hand of the wicked." We saw that in the previous drama. Rabshakeh and Sennacherib, as mean as they were, or hope none of them are here, but what were they to Jehovah? One angel wiped them all out. All his army, all his troops. He had to go home with his tail between his legs as a whipped dog. This expression, guarding, tells us that Jehovah repeatedly helps his loyal ones when we're in distress. And if you are any watching a football, imagine a football player, 6'6", 320 pounds, guarding the quarterback, yet still pressers can break through and sack that quarterback into the dirt. Well, with Jehovah as your guard, that will not happen. No one gets through, not even a demon. Jehovah rescues us from the hand of the wicked. Satan may feel that we're in his vice grip of the hand of that diabolic person. He's squeezing us, trying to make us fit into the world, when Jehovah loyally comes to our rescue and pries open Satan's death grip. It's like the world is represented, let's say, by this hole. It's the black hole of despair. Here we are, the square peg. Can the peg fit into a hole? No. But someone may say, and we have some brilliant young people here, cut the edges off, cut the corners. And they'd be right. But when it comes to our loyalty and our worship to Jehovah, do we want to cut corners? Do we want to lose the sharpness of our edge to Jehovah? Absolutely not. King David experienced firsthand the loyalty of Jehovah, and he knew that with someone loyal, Jehovah acts in loyalty, as is stated in 2 Samuel 22, verse 1 and 26. Also, David said in the 4th Psalm that Jehovah will treat his loyal ones in a special way. God's word assures us that if we're loyal to Jehovah, he will be loyal to us no matter what challenges or hardships we face in this disloyal world. Therefore, we're going to examine 4 questions. 1, how does Jehovah treat his loyal ones in a special way? 2, how has this convention been evidence of God's special treatment? And 3, how can we meet the challenge of remaining loyal to God? And 4, how will Jehovah treat his loyal ones in a special way in the future? And at the end of this talk, we will have a video that you do not want to miss. But let's think of this first question. How does Jehovah treat his loyal ones in a special way? Did you know that one of the sacred songs to be sung in the evening by ancient Israelites reveal that Jehovah treats his loyal ones in such a special way that they can sleep soundly every night without fear? In Psalm, verse 4, verses 1 through 8. Let's read that. Please turn to Psalm, verse 4, verses 1 through 8. It reads, "When I call, answer me, O my righteous God. Make a way of escape for me in my distress. Show me favor and hear my prayer. You sons of men, how long will you turn my honor into humiliation? How long will you love what is worthless and search for what is false? Know that Jehovah will treat his loyal ones in a special way. Jehovah will hear when I call him. Be agitated, but do not sin. Have your say in your heart, upon your bed, and keep silent. Offer the sacrifice of righteousness and trust in Jehovah. There are many sayings. Who will show us anything good? Let the light of your face shine upon us, O Jehovah. You have filled my heart with greater rejoicing than those who have an abundant harvest of grain and new wine. I will lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, O Jehovah, make me dwell in security. Why did David write this psalm? Can you put yourself in David's sandals? David had faced discouraging situations. False accusations from enemies, such as verse 2, humiliated him. Have you ever been ambushed by a backstabber? If so, you know how David felt. What confidence did David have? He expressed complete trust in Jehovah. And in verse 3, he said that Jehovah will treat his loyal one in a special way. How is that possible? Well, your loyalty. Jehovah sees that. He catches his eye and he points to you and says, that one is for me. He separates you from others who do not worship him, and he treats you as having an intrinsic value, not like a tool or a hammer that once the purpose of that is finished, it's thrown in the toolbox or maybe in a junk drawer out of the sight of other people. No, Jehovah puts you in a special way, as if on a mantle for everybody to see and to learn from your type of loyalty, to see the beauty you have because you're loyal to God. Whether you be a young person at school or an older one at work or facing unbelieving relatives. Jehovah treats you in a way that allows you to maintain your sense of worth and well-being. He trusts you and respects you to do the right thing. And what is that? Be his loyal friend. What special treatment can loyal ones expect from Jehovah? One, he hears our prayers and helps us in our distress, as verse 1 indicates. Look at verse 6 in that psalm. We enjoy the light of divine favor as number 2. And number 3, we have joy of heart. And because of that joy, we can sleep peacefully because Jehovah makes us dwell in security. Our conscience does not keep us awake. Thus, what lessons have we learned from David's words in this 4th psalm? Jehovah loves you as his loyal worshipers. He has a deep sense of commitment and special attachment to you. No matter what hardships we face, we can rest assured that Jehovah wants to help us. Jehovah will act in loyalty toward those who are loyal to him. Can you recall a time in your life when you experienced special treatment by Jehovah, perhaps in your time of great distress? Imagine if you lived in Mexico City, and your daily routine was interrupted by a phone call that sends chills down your spine. We have kidnapped your mother. Do not try to call the police. Just wait for our call early tomorrow morning. The kidnapper demanded a large sum of money. How did our sister that lived in Mexico City, Esther, respond? When the kidnapper called, I was calm in the face of his threats. So the kidnapper was puzzled. Don't you realize the gravity of the situation? Esther said, of course, you kidnapped my mother, but we are Jehovah's Witnesses. We have full confidence that our God will help us. Yes, I know, said the kidnapper. Your mother says the same thing. She trusts you're her God and you too. One of the police officers that was called commented, During the 9 years I've been in this department, I have seen the despair of many families, but you are different. You display great tranquility. I'm sure that it's because of the God you worship. Finally, after 15 days of negotiations, the mother was released, even though for 15 days she was in a small room chained by her foot. She coped so remarkably well. She admitted, I was frightened, but I began to pray to Jehovah. And he did not allow me to despair. I never felt alone within those four walls. I discovered how real Jehovah was to me. He never abandoned me. Can't we conclude that Jehovah treated her in a special way, not by releasing her, although that happened, but by not allowing her to lose hope? Even before we step through the doors of this convention, Jehovah has treated us in a special way, particularly our young publishers. If you've seen the May broadcast on JWTV, you know this new brochure, Answers to 10 Questions Young People Ask, was approved to be published and downloaded in 324 languages. That's to help you young ones remain loyal to Jehovah and boldly talk to others about the truth. But what about this convention? How has this convention been evidence of Jehovah's special treatment? Here's a question. Would you not agree that this program is proof that God knows the trials we face and he fully equips us to deal with them successfully so that we can remain loyal to him? As loyal ones, special treatment does not mean that we're shielded from calamities. Psalm 34, verse 19 says, many are the hardships of the righteous one, but Jehovah rescues him from all. Thus, bad things can and does happen to good people, as we saw in our drama yesterday afternoon. But for Jehovah's loyal ones, he rescues us from them all. Here's one example. Rwanda, during the genocide in 1994, Jehovah's Witnesses as a group stood firm in their loyalty. Prior to genocide, the Church of Christendom was a place for refuge for local citizens. Then it became a place of killing. While the churches of Christendom were places of massacres between people of the same religion but different tribes, only our brothers were known for their neutral stand and real application of Christian principles. One brother found refuge in a hole in the ground covered with cow manure. He stayed there for 28 days. How did he stay alive? A brother of the opposite tribe brought him each day some food and soup. What an example of loyalty from our brothers in Rwanda. And what we have witnessed and heard at this facility will enable us too to stand firm. We had 48 preceding parts, many of them by brothers that had 2 decades, 3 decades or more of faithful service. Would you like to express your appreciation to all who were involved in presenting those parts? And we thank the slave for being guided and directed by God's Spirit to make this possible. We also want to thank all the volunteers who work so hard so that we can enjoy this convention. Think of the cleaning and many other things behind the scenes that go on that we don't even know that makes it comfortable for us, even a new ventilating system so that we can enjoy the comfort of this assembly hall. Don't you appreciate that too? Excuse me, I had this experience from one of our attendant department. Maybe yesterday you saw that there were some people out here protesting or having signs. That was Friday. But, you know, some of them were honest-hearted, so our attendants, interestingly and carefully, invited some in to watch the program. They wanted to do that. And they were offered seating by the attendants. And after the drama, they each took a Bible and a Bible teach book home with them. One even asked for a Bible study. Let us consider just a few insights and highlights on the program. And if you have your program, you can open it up and look at it if you wish. We had symposiums, 9 fast-moving presentations that included videos, demonstrations, and interviews. On Friday, we learned how to maintain loyalty first in thought and in word and action, how to imitate Jesus and showing loyalty in faces of all manner of challenges, and how to uphold Jehovah's judgments loyally, even when it's not easy to do so. One of those programs dealt with a single mother who felt, she said in that video, trapped and forgotten. But one of the sisters at this convention says, what stands out to me was the video of the single parent. That touched me a lot. She could relate to those struggles. She also liked, and she thought the best part was when the mother apologized to the daughter. And this sister said, I especially appreciate the governing body who acknowledges the challenges going through with single parents. She says, we needed it. Okay. We all needed it, didn't we? On Saturday, the symposium taught us practical lessons on how to help others to become loyal to Jehovah, warning lessons not to imitate disloyal ones, positive lessons how we can imitate the loyal ones, and powerful lessons we can learn from the Bible book of Job. Today, 2 symposiums taught us how to avoid what erodes loyalty and how to pursue wholesome qualities that can build it up. As you listen to these symposiums, did you take note of specific, practical points that you can apply in your life? I saw some young ones doing that, taking notes on even the symposiums and videos. What about the baptism discourse? Listening to this talk every few months enables us to reflect on our own dedication to Jehovah. And our dedication is a promise, a sacred promise of loyalty. How many were baptized yesterday? 9 new brothers and sisters. Would you like to welcome them to the Worldwide Association? One sister that was baptized was 75 years old, and despite fragile health, she says, I've been studying for years, but the last couple years I made a decision to stick to it, and I'm happy to be here. One 15-year-old sister said she was raised in the truth, and after studying, she decided she was mature enough to take this step and has really seen that this is the best life ever. Don't we agree with her and the 75-year-old sister? What about the dramas? This year marks the 50th anniversary of the use of dramas at our conventions. Many of you were not old enough, as I am. At our first drama in 1966 was at the God's Sons of Liberty District Assemblies, and these assemblies featured 3 dramas, 1 sound only, and 2 live presentations. One even I remember with microphones on the stage. My wife Renata and I attended the one in Toronto, Canada that year on June 22nd through 26th. And that was the first on the continent where 46,118 attended. But interestingly, the Kingdom Ministry of May of 1966 preceding that convention, in the section once called Branch Letter, said that there's another exciting thing happened that occurred at Brooklyn Bethel, and that was that the family saw the new film the society has made entitled Heritage. This is 1966. It had actors that were Jehovah's Witnesses, and it was also shown on television. A forerunner of the dramas we see today. It was a surprise. But now we have those dramas, not just live on stage, but now we have video presentations that we can watch over and over again. We have the added blessing of the release of several dramas. For example, Saturday morning, the release was For a Certainty, God Made Him Lord in Christ, parts 1 and 2. That was last year's drama. And this was the first time in our convention that dramas portrayed Jesus as the main character. Also, what about Saturday afternoon, the showing and release of the drama Hope for What We Do Not Know? Oh boy, some of the young children said, that was realistic. That was enjoyable, but I sobbed. One sister said it was a too hanky one. Another publisher said it was 5 tissues worth, and he was a brother. Do you remember Victor telling Ethan, it's not about forgetting our past, it's about remembering our future. Then Ethan, in turn, reflected with his son, Rowan, Revelation 21:4 about death being no more. And the father said, that's Jehovah's promise, Rowan. It's real. But it's up to you to keep it alive. That reminded me of someone I met here who I knew as a baby, and he had 3 sisters. I knew the parents. He showed me his father, who passed away recently, photos of his father, and he said, look, I'm in his arms. Now I'm 40 years old, and I have children. Is the resurrection hope real to that brother? You can be sure it is. Now, we can benefit by these dramas by watching them over and over again, meditating on them, discussing them as a family, using it in family worship. This will help to strengthen your loyalty so you do not cut corners to fit in with the world. Without question, the convention program is a powerful proof that Jehovah has deep attachment to us and wants us to continue benefiting from this special treatment by Jehovah. However, we must remain loyal. How can we meet the challenge of remaining loyal to God? And why is it a challenge? Well, we live in a disloyal world controlled by Satan and his demons. They fight against us as we strive to be loyal to Jehovah. And our own imperfect flesh, we make mistakes, and there's also time and unforeseen occurrences. So Romans chapter 6, verses 11 and 12 tells us to put on a complete suit of armor, not a skimpy one, but the total package. Why? Because we can stand firm against the crafty acts of the devil. That's a ringing passage for a call to arms by the Apostle Paul. It's a call to loyalty. And interesting, that word, stand firm, in verse 11, is a key word in that verse. It's a military term. It means holding our position. Maintain your ground, to be loyal. We all face tests of loyalty. Our brothers 80 years ago and their children faced tests in brutal Nazi rule with persecution and executions. Today, some of us are facing opposition from governmental rulers or religious leaders or unbelieving relatives. For example, look at Russia, as reported this week on NPR on May 17th. Russia's top prosecutor is threatening a nationwide ban on Jehovah's Witnesses, claiming we're extremists. See, we're the square peg. We're not fitting in with their view, their worldly view of what's whole. Why? Why is this the case? Because we're loyal to Jehovah foremost and first. So this pressure in Russia has built over the years with arrests, confiscations of property. The government would like Jehovah's Witnesses to cut corners in their four-square allegiance to Jehovah, to stop our preaching work. Will our 175,000 brothers stop their religious activities? You know the answer. No. They will remain loyal to Jehovah, who treats them in a special way. Our sister Nadia from St. Petersburg congregation told the NPR reporter about the proposed ban. These are conditions where our beliefs get stronger, and we're going to do even more. Do you agree with Nadia? Others of us live with chronic physical or emotional illness or deal with challenges of caring for aged or infirm ones. And these too are tests of our loyalty and can be as trialsome and as difficult to handle as our brothers in Russia today or our brothers in Nazi Germany decades ago. To meet this challenge takes courage, and it takes courage to stand firm in the face of opposition, especially to endure prolonged suffering and adversity. Think of Erna Ludolf. She was born in Lübeck, Germany in 1908. She was the only member of her family who served Jehovah. When the Hitler regime came to power in 1933, life became difficult for all of Jehovah's Witnesses, including Erna. She spent 8 years in various prisons and concentration camps. How did Erna come off victorious? How was she treated in a special way? She tells us, "It was our aim as prisoners to endure under all circumstances. We never prayed to be set free. We prayed for strength to endure. Everything else was unimportant. What mattered was standing up for Jehovah's name, and that she did, and thousands of others of our brothers and sisters." We can learn much about courage and loyalty from the example of Hezekiah, which we just witnessed in that marvelous presentation. Hezekiah courageously stood firm for pure worship. He did not cut corners. Although he had an unhappy childhood, Hezekiah chose to be loyal to Jehovah. That's what we can learn from Hezekiah's example. Even if we did not grow up in a family who worshiped Jehovah, we're not helpless victims of our environment. We cannot change our past, but we can change the way we are affected by it. So you young ones, let Hezekiah be your role model. He was handed a lemon. He made lemonade. You have to find the lemonade in your life. Hezekiah did not let his father's hypocritical conduct sour him on the worship of Jehovah, nor did he feel doomed to repeat his father's mistakes. Instead, he kept sticking to Jehovah. Like Hezekiah, you can be a spiritual success. How? Make lemonade. Keep sticking to Jehovah. Look to Jehovah for direction. Make wise choices in your life, especially at a young age. Keep seeking God's kingdom first. And this assembly is for young ones too. Brother Kokaris, who began this program, welcomed the young ones. And we're happy they're here with us too. And don't they set a good example of sticking with Jehovah? Hezekiah courageously stood firm against Assyria. Even though his apostate father had been allied with the Assyrians, who were brutal in warfare. Let's look at this video clip to remind us of how brutal those Assyrians were. not nice guys, were they? Hezekiah broke the alliance with Assyria. As 2 Kings 18:7 says, and Jehovah was with him. Wherever he went, he acted wisely. He rebelled against the king of Assyria and refused to serve him. His bold stand provoked the wrath of the Assyrians, who then conquered many cities in Judah. What can we learn from Hezekiah's example? We need courage to remain neutral when it comes to the wars of the nations. Our loyalty to God requires us that we have no part of this world, that we do not cut corners. As with Hezekiah, our taking a loyal stand may provoke the wrath of worldly nations, but God has a special attachment to us as his worshipers. He knows how to deliver us. Third lesson we learn from Hezekiah, he courageously maintained a loyal course. He faced opposers, even among his own people, who urged him to compromise, but he did not give in to pressure. He stood firm. Look at this video clip.
King Hezekiah, will you not even now face the facts? We are trapped. We're like birds in a cage. Either we open the door to the cage ourselves, or we keep it closed until Sennacherib rips it open.
Even suggesting that we surrender? I cannot give Jehovah's holy city over to men who taunt the living God, to men who will profane the temple of Jehovah and carry off his spoil, the Ark of the Covenant. No, we will not surrender.
All the cities of Judah have been defeated. Thousands have been taken away. Men, women, children. The Assyrians are at our gate, and you cling to the belief that nothing bad will happen. Do you not understand? You will destroy everything you so hope to preserve. The temple, Jerusalem, our very lives.
Shebna, I'm not blind to the dangers that we face. I too am afraid. But if Jehovah allows Jerusalem to fall, so be it. How can we give up what belongs to Jehovah?
What helped Hezekiah to hold fast to Jehovah? He reflected on the good examples of loyal kings, and no doubt like David, who also was loyal. He also read God's word daily, obeying the command for the kings to read God's word every single day. When in distress, what did Hezekiah do? Turn to 2 Kings 19, verses 14 through 19. Here, we'll see he prayed to God and then acted in harmony with his prayers. 2 Kings chapter 19, verses 14 through 19. We'll read some of this. Notice verse 14. Hezekiah took the letters out of the hand of the messengers and read them. Hezekiah then went up to the house of Jehovah and spread them out before Jehovah. And Hezekiah began to pray before Jehovah and say, O Jehovah, the God of Israel, sitting enthroned above the cherubs, you alone are the true God of all the kingdoms of the earth, who made the heavens and the earth. Incline your ear, O Jehovah, and hear. Open your eyes, O Jehovah, and see. Hear the words that Sennacherib has sent to taunt the living God. And now look at verse 19. But now, O Jehovah our God, please save us out of his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are God. The letters of Sennacherib mocked God, urging Hezekiah to give up. He spread them before Jehovah. What can we learn from this example? Make a practice to read and meditate on God's word daily. When in distress, spread out your concerns before Jehovah in prayer. Jehovah will hear, he will see. Hezekiah was blessed for his loyalty. Jehovah rewarded Hezekiah by delivering him. And in one night, the angel slew 185,000 Assyrians. You saw it. I saw it. I didn't believe it, but it was there. What a presentation. to show Jehovah's saving power. What can we learn from this example of Hezekiah? That Jehovah will bless us and reward us for our loyalty to him. No matter what test of loyalty we face, God will make the way out. Do you believe it? Hezekiah. Yeah, you agree with Hezekiah as he believed it, and as we've seen the last 3 days, our brothers and sisters do too. Let me tell you the story of Joseph Nicolash. He was one of 32 prisoners, and he came face to face with the guillotine's blade or the hanging hook in Brandenburg prison in Germany during Nazi era. A prison guard told Joseph Nicolash that there was something different about the witnesses when they faced death. He said, other prisoners resist. Some even scream. You could hear them screaming. But, prison guard said, you people go to the gallows talking about God's kingdom up to the last moment. Brother Nicolash said, I can only say one thing. We Jehovah's Witnesses are not heroes. We could not say, I can take anything that comes. Whenever I prayed to Jehovah, I didn't pray, I want to go home right away. The prison gates ought to open up. Instead of that, my prayer was always that Jehovah should give me the strength so that I would be able to endure in every situation that may arise. Jehovah answered his prayer. He provided the way out for Brother Nicholas and Hezekiah, and he can and will for you too. What powerful lessons we learn from the drama about King Hezekiah. Would it be beneficial if we could view this drama over and over? Perhaps consider it in family worship? Yes, it would. So we're pleased to announce the release of the new drama, O Jehovah, I Trust in You. The chairman will indicate how to access this video at the end of the talk. But in this video, just the effort and thought that the slave allowed to be done to produce this video, the wardrobes here were heavily researched so that they were as accurate as possible. And they were specifically designed and selected from handmade materials that had to be repeatedly washed so that they would look regal but yet worn out. They were handmade by brothers and sisters at the Patterson complex. And despite the fact that the Assyrians were a world power, their armor, wardrobe, and weaponry isn't replicated commercially. So guess what? Bethelites and volunteer workers had to make everything, the helmets, the shields, the swords. They were machined at Wallkill. Meticulously, handmade pieces by pieces of armor were put together. The sets, specifically designed to provide authentic texture and shape, even trying to color coordinate the scene with the costume that the actor was wearing. There was 5 complete sets built indoor at a facility just south of the Patterson complex. The cast. The first time we've portrayed a cavalry and depicted chariotry. It required a total of 17 horses, and 14 different families that are Jehovah's Witnesses volunteered their horses. Some came from New York State. And did you see any Texans there? Well, there were some horses, 4 of them from Texas. A family from Texas had specially trained horses lead the chariot team. The chariot had to be built with a special 4-horse yoke-style harness. That technology has not been used for centuries, but our brothers used it. Locations. Some of this scene was from northern Nevada on a brother's property. Some of the scene was up at Wallkill property. What about the visual effects? They played a pivotal role in this production. The landscape outside of videos, Jerusalem's wall, the crowd duplication, all of this was a virtual construction of cities, of Samaria and Lachish. All the angel footage was special effects generated. You can be thankful of that. Also, there were special sound effects. That was behind the scenes. This was the largest and most complex sound design that the organization has ever had to do. We could go on and on with what took place, but doesn't that tell you how the faithful slave wants to treat us special? And they're extending Jehovah's view of special treatment to us. Can't we be so thankful for that? How will Jehovah treat his loyal ones in a special way in the future? Well, we take to heart and apply in our life what we learned at this Remain Loyal to Jehovah convention. Jehovah will treat us in a special way now and in the immediate future. We can benefit from Jehovah's special treatment. How? By directing this, by appreciating the spiritual food provided at the proper time. It's what we need when we need it. Taking all advantage of Jehovah's provisions. How will Jehovah treat his loyal ones in a special way in the immediate future? We can expect difficult tests of our loyalty. World conditions will continue to worsen. Our loyalty to God will likely bring increased ridicule and will face the attack of God of Magog during the Great Tribulation. We need not fear. Jehovah will deliver us by means of his great prince. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 shows that Michael has already stood up in 1914, and he will be standing for us during the Great Tribulation, when during that time he will take special action at Armageddon on behalf of God's loyal ones. How can we benefit from Jehovah's treatment forever? During the millennium, Jehovah will make all things new. An earthly resurrection will take place. Remember the banisters? What about the Browns that we saw this morning? Look at this video and see what it tells you about the future special treatment Jehovah's loyal ones will receive. Jesus had joy helping his Father create Adam and Eve, who resulted in billions of lives. All died except those living today. But imagine the joy Jesus will have to individually help resurrected everyone that died. That would include one of your relatives, your close friend, maybe your husband or your wife or your brother or sister. Can you live it? Can you see it? That's what Jehovah has in store for his special ones. We can gain that reward. Maybe even have Hezekiah teach us personally how to write in Hebrew. But to do this, we must stand firm today. We must stand firm tomorrow to not allow Satan and the spirit of his ungodly world to try to force us to cut corners or try to squeeze us into this dying world mold. To benefit from God's special treatment, we must be determined to do what is stated in our convention theme: remain loyal to Jehovah. Will you remain loyal to Jehovah today? Will you remain loyal to Jehovah tomorrow? If so, Jehovah will remain loyal to you forever.
Thank you, Brother Pelagia. Your talk and this entire convention has strengthened us to face tastes of our faith now and in the future with full confidence in Jehovah, always remaining loyal to him. All in attendance will be pleased to know that the drama, "O Jehovah, I Trust in You," is available now for download on jw.org and in the JW Library app. Like the other dramas released at this convention, this drama will be available for electronic download only. To download the drama from jw.org, go to Publications. At the bottom of the featured items page, you will see a section for convention releases. In JW Library, go to Publications and tap Convention Releases at the bottom of the list. We request, however, that you please allow those attending later at conventions to enjoy learning about this new release when they attend their convention. The attendance for this final session of our Remain Loyal to Jehovah convention was 2,464. Now, let us conclude this beautiful convention by standing and singing with warm appreciation song number 63, entitled Ever Loyal. Afterward, Brother Pelagia, James Pelagia, will conclude with prayer. That's song number 63.